Welcome to my shiny head. Every time I watch a video, usually by Ohm or something online, I get inspired to do something. So I grabbed an old script here, and it's kind of interesting. I'll put it over into rendered so you can kind of see what's happening. It's basically a glass box that's populated by skeleton meshes, and I'm pretty excited about that. Uh, and I kind of put it in ice. I thought that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. But anyway, very simple, and I'm using an old script. So what I'm going to do now is for the rest of my any architectural things that go on scale and can utilize a little figure in them, I'm going to pop in this little skeleton. So I'm going to keep it here in the basic scripts, this geometry that's ready to be displaced. And I'll show you exactly what I'm doing with that. I put in my old geometry that is basically, as we go into it, I believe it's what I click that will come up. Maybe I should do that. Make a rectangle. I populate that. I make a surface from those points. I dispatch those points, find the list length, put it through a range and a jitter, and deform those geometries. Nice little node point deform. So that's exactly what happens. You go from this surface, which is generated, to this one, and you can jitter and find your pattern in your dispatch from your randomizing factor here, which is really nice. And then I scale it huge because I like it nice and big and juicy. And then I do a divide isotrim, divide surface, divide domain 2, and then find my center points. And then I did a very interesting jitter with a sublist, so I can control the sublist of where these guys go. So I could really populate it if I wanted to. And if I put that on, you'd see what's happening. There can be a lot of skeletons in there, not just the ones I baked. But you can curb kind of where on the plane you want it to be. If you want to populate it down at one end, that's fine. And if you populate a lot of it, you can also control the jitter with a kind of reparameterized number. Says, well, I shouldn't call it that, but from a 0 to 1 strength to say how many points do you want in that section and how much do you want it to deviate in jitter. So I keep it pretty calm. And let's move over the guys over to this side. You'll see another patch that appears near the front of 4. Well, we'll just see where it ends up. All these points go down in the diagonal because I have jittered them a bit. But if I populate them in there, I can really scatter them, or I can keep them all tight to where they're clustered in a row, kind of make them a little more linear. And then with that, I had to play with a little bit of a list item. I had to call the index and pull one out, otherwise it was doubling my images. And then each skeleton goes into a rotate after it's been oriented. I believe I oriented it somewhere. There it is. There's the orient geometry, and then I take it through a rotation of 2 pi. And then there you've got that encased in that old surface edit. So very nice little script, fun to play with. Pop it in a render. You can take everything else off. You could populate the other guys, which are kind of ghosted, and some of them appear similar to the other dots. But now I can just go in and I can be like, I think I'll populate like way down here, 3 to 0, and then I've got a few appearing off here on this side, and they're all twisted in different directions. And those new blue guys, I can have pretty cool control over how I want 1, 2, 3 to turn. They all turn. The first one stays the same, and then the rest kind of turn in accordance to that. One faster and faster and faster, because it's in a range, very small range of just 3 steps. 2 steps, because I have to -1 from the geometries going in. I guess I could leave it at 3 and see what happens. And then I should have an effect of, that's just going to take a second. I hope it doesn't double up anything. I've got 3 steps now, and I hope it didn't crash it. There we go. Now I should be able to pivot and turn all of them, but I could have crashed my program with that. Ugh, what are you thinking about? Anyway, I'll move my face over here for that sake. Anyway, whether I did or didn't, it seems to be thinking a little too hard. I think basically I did crash my script by going out of that. So let's go back in. Well, let's see. No, they're there. Now you can see what happened in doing that. That first jittered face has just gone ballistic in its turns. So I've got one that's just like, it just multiplied by removing that one, the count was so crazy to 1,400 units. So it's probably best to have left that in the list lengths being processed. Much easier. So that's a little bit of what happens when you don't control your data. Oh, the meshes just went crazy. I forgot how many meshes were in each one. I'm not dealing with solids, or I'm dealing with a collection of all these wonderful bones in a simplified mesh if I go in here. And this isn't even the hardest one. And what's nice about these is you can still Control Shift, select Edit, or you could explode and select it at every joint and start to rig this figure up, which is what I've done with some sound programs, some Firefly, and some augmented reality. So I've had a lot of fun with this script, and I'm going to continue to have that. But like I said, I'm going to basically populate my 3Ds as we go. Make sure I'm not selecting anything here. I think I shouldn't have taken that off, but I did. Yeah, it's a pretty solid, ugly little color right now, and I've got everything showing in here, which is not what I want. I actually just want to see what I want to show. And when you take that geometry and throw it over into a ray trace, you get a pretty nice finish on it with some awkward little iced forms. So let's just jump in here and go back to ray trace. It would take quite a bit to load and to pull a render out of there. It's going to be pretty hard as well. But the detail is really nice and playful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those 5 minutes. I'm going to keep going. Look forward for finding my skeleton. His name is Gibble, and his head's name Bones. And take a look for Find Gibbles in the next scripts. Thanks for watching.